Hello, good evening. Yes, it's evening because it's 11:19. Don't know whether you saw my Wednesday video. My mum's gone to visit my older brothers up north with one of my younger brothers. I don't know whether you also saw my Wednesday video. I was saying I ordered some more Funko Pops from Forbidden Planet. Hello, Ashy. Yeah, because I'm doing this when everyone's gone to sleep, I still shut my door. Sometimes my cat comes in. Are you ready, Ash? Make another debut on this channel. There's my Ashington. I love Ash. I love Finn. They don't quite love me. So yeah, I'm going to show them. They arrived today. I was actually out because girl had to get her eyebrows done to be on fleek. Also, I've got the purple lipstick on again. It's gone a bit patchy because I do have the bad habit of I pick my lips, like I pick the skin off it, don't ask me why. So you can see, pointing out all my flaws, it isn't very good in that sense because you can, it's gone patchy over the bits that I've picked on, I guess you could say. So my cat's just staring at me. Oh, I have Elena. Put you there for the minute. Actually no, we'll put you back. I have Alison, who when I am either using my memory card or I'm charging my battery or whatever, or I'm going to be using my memory card, I stick it on Alison's palm because I'm that obsessed. I had Casima. In this episode, I think I found, I don't want to say my favourite clone, but I'm starting to get favourite clones now, even though I love them all. You know, you just sort of think, oh, Casima, you were so great in this episode. I felt so bad for you. But you were so great in this episode. And then I had Sarah. And I did not realise, like, I've had these, what, 2 months now, maybe? Yeah, near enough. I've only just realised she has the original Clone Club phone in her hand. Visual impairment problems, as you could say. So I also ordered the comic books. They have not been delivered yet. Also, if you hear the noise of beads, it's this wheat bag thing. Physio said I should use it to relax my muscles, but also my arm actually hurts today. So I got Rachel Duncan, who has a few imperfections on her head. It's weird. And also the stand. You know Funko Pops come with stands that you can stand them on, like this round disc. I mean, they're in the box with them, but so I took her out, put the stand back on, and it broke off on her foot. Yeah, I'm a bit like, that's never happened before. So I now have to stand her like that. So if she looks a bit off, that's not my fault. Stupid stand. We have Rachel Duncan with pencil in her eye. I know, jazzy, isn't it? Look, it actually sticks out as well. Isn't that so cool? Small things in these little minds. We got Felix. This is the one that I couldn't get the stand into, but I didn't want to, because of what happened with that one, I didn't want to go too hard with it, so I just left it. So yeah, I'm not going to get it out of the box because on Forbidden Planet they're limited supply, so they'll have them for as long as they get them, but they don't know when they'll stop. so you can only get one per customer. So I got, I mean, if you went to Comic-Con, you probably, you were able to buy these. It's the Helena, I think I said this in my last video actually. It's the Helena in the Parker jacket, and she's got a bit of rebar. I think it's rebar. So far in this show, I've heard words, and they've turned out to be wrong. Yeah, names, words. I'm really, like, I need to get my hearing tested, obviously. So, what an episode that was. Episode 6. I feel like I'm still getting over it. I want to say I really enjoyed it, but the first time I watched it, I almost didn't enjoy it because I don't know whether everyone had seen the promos. It just looked so like Cosima was gonna die. Someone has replied to my comment. #1 fan has replied to my comment. Cheers, Mum, if you're watching this. Yeah, my mum's my #1 fan. No biggie. My cat Ash has literally gone to sleep from my talking. Am I that boring, Ash? Am I that boring? Really? Most cats would come sit on my lap and want to be part of this filming experience. Not you. Not Finn. So that is what I'm here to talk to you today about after I've finished rambling for about 20 minutes. Yeah. I'm here to talk to you today about Orphan Black, episode 6, The Scandal of Altruism. This episode, I really enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy the nervousness it gave me, but it was very, very good. I mean, I feel like the last 2 episodes, this one and the one where we were at Brightbourne, have been some of the strongest episodes because, do you know what I mean? It was just so strong. Sorry, it's just full. Like, I don't know whether anybody watched After the Black, I think that's called. Yes, I actually found the website for it. The Canadian one. Thank you. You're not like your American counterparts where they say, you cannot watch this, you are not in the right area. You let me watch it. And I binge watched all of them except for one. I couldn't watch the second one. The second episode one, I don't know why. But other than that, I watched them all, and I don't know which one it was. I think it might have been the one with Graham Manson and Kevin who plays Art. I can't remember his last name, I'm so sorry. Memory is not my strong point. There's a reason all these things I need notes for. Either that, it was Tatiana Maslany and Kevin Hanchard, that's it. It was one of them two. And they were saying this season's all about origins. So at the start we see Beth. Beth is back, everybody. Beth in the blonde wig. My theory was wrong. No, she didn't go and kill Crystal's boyfriend. So we see Beth, and she's going to this Brightbourne party. And we see her, so this is the night she kills herself. So this is where she's gone in the blonde wig with her gun and her pass that had the B on it, Brightbourne. Yeah, I'll see you there. And it looks like she's going there to kill Susan Duncan. I love the flashbacks this season. I think it's been a really, focus. We're back in the room. It's been a very good addition to the season. I think it's really sort of added a new dimension to it. And then we see Ira and Susan. That is still a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, kind of sad where we see Cosima saying to Sarah, you know, this is our only option because she's sick and they're not close to finding her a cure. It's not working, the treatment she's currently on, and they're no closer to finding a cure. And that even if they do find a cure, she probably won't live long enough to see it or be treated with it. But they go over Siobhan's authority to give Kendall to Susan, which is kind of risky. I mean, I know Sarah says it's their decision because it's them who will be affected by it, I guess. But whether that's a smart move, because down the line with the events that happen in this episode, not Siobhan could blame them, but it could affect their relationship. But they're not going to give them the caster clone. They say that they have the ability to, because Kendall is a chimera, not entirely sure. So that she has the two genes, the caster and the leader, and because she has leukemia, they're saying the white blood cells duplicate, so they're all duplicates of that one white blood cell. And then it went a bit over my head, and then they said the one gene thing is leader, so they give the leader cell to Susan, and then there's Art meeting Crystal at the police station, and I like what Art does. So I'm a bit tired. I love how he tries to, so they pass, he talks to Marty Duco at the police station, but he notices that Crystal is a clone, but he tries to distract Marty from noticing that she's one of the clones and sort of being a bit like iffy, which I thought was like, go Art, you know. I feel like this episode really showed off Kendall and Siobhan's relationship. That, you know, as much as Siobhan and Kendall are a bit prickly with each other, deep down they do love each other, do you know what I mean? Because Kendall is her mum and Siobhan is her daughter. And then when Sarah's at Brightburn to sort of be dealing with Susan and Evie comes to take her to Susan, she's like, I'm going to pass on the tour because Emma didn't recommend it. And the great line. And then when she's saying about, when Ira comes in, she's a bit like, oh, another caster clone. And then he's like, actually, I'm a Libra. I love the writers because they come up with these great lines that you... And then we learn a bit more about the bots, which I might try to do that. That might be better. So we learn about the bots, that they are... So they're targeting certain things you may... They do different things for different people. So some can help with things you may be predisposition for. So they say that like Leaky had a gene disposition, like a faulty gene that gave him a likelihood of Alzheimer's. So that was sort of changing the DNA to sort of stop that. And they say that Sarah's was to trigger her sickness because, as we all know now, she's immune to the same sickness Cosima has. I wonder whether that means Helena's immune because twins and all. So it was to trigger that sickness. But they say it must not have awoken to sort of do that, because they said because otherwise she'd be dead if it had, which is always good. No, we don't want dead Sarah. And we also see Susan's loyalties when Sarah says about how they're only gonna give them the leader genome. They can say Ira's a bit bitter about that, so he tells Sarah that Beth was there before her. And then we see the scene between Susan and Beth when she sort of got the gun to her, sort of being like, you know. And it's also weird in with Susan, because it's sort of like she is almost like their mother, their watchdog, if that makes sense, because she's always keeping an eye on the clones, like saying she went to Beth's graduation. Yeah, like being a mother. Which is very weird, because she's sort of keeping an eye on all the other clones and trying to sort of help them, if that makes sense. But she abandoned her own daughter. And then she says, "Whatever you think you know, Beth, you must believe this. I have devoted my life to sustaining yours. Without me, your sisters will wither on a vine, and I cannot bear that. I love you all." And then we see Beth run off and not shoot her. I think she realises that she's been set up, or that she can't kill Susan Duncan because Susan Duncan cares for them. And Susan Duncan also says that if Beth kills her, someone will just come in and take her place. Which is true. Someone will come in and take her place. But they won't have such a, I guess, connection to it. So they won't care as much as Susan does. That's what I really love. That these characters, one minute you think you have them pinned down as a really bad person. The next they're sort of someone you can sympathise with. I love it. It warps your mind a bit, but I love it. And then Cosima and Scott, because Susan gives Cosima the hard drive to put all their research on, and they're in the lab putting it on the hard drive, and Cosima's like, 2 relationships, 1 missing soulmate. And then there's Scott, always adding humour to it, being like, well, Shay was a rebound, so 1.5 relationships, 1 3/4 stops. I love their friendship. And then we go back to the police station where we see our sort of, I think it's Sarah. And he says, Crystal thinks Vidal's as soon as after her. I just love it. Oh yes, he's on the phone to Sarah, it says it. It's late. I did these notes. I can't profess I'm going to be great at it. You know, I try my best. It's actually getting better now that I've put the screen away, because I don't have anything to look at. I just have the camera to look at, if that makes sense. It's really weird. And then he says to Sarah, because he asks, does she need backup for her and Cosima to go to Brightbourne for her to get the thing out of her cheek. And he says, Sarah, you watch your back. This is what killed Beth. And then we see Felix leaving to go help Art. And we sort of see him talk to Siobhan, and he's sort of like, Adele left. She went back home. And I sort of think, are you feeling bad, Felix, about last week and the dinner table? So then we go back to Brightbourne, where they're about to take the thing out of the maggot bot out of Sarah's cheek. And we see Cheek Chopper. Yes, I am so sorry. I thought they said Tree Chopper, and I've been saying it for the past 5 episodes. Tree Chopper. When apparently I got it wrong. It was Cheek Chopper. I'm sorry. I feel like an absolute idiot. I don't know how that one slipped by me. I'm not sure. I mean, I already said I've got a lot of these names wrong, you know. I feel really embarrassed now when I heard it. And then when I saw it written that it was actually that, I just sort of sat there and I was like, oh my god, this has gone live on the internet and I've said it wrong for 5 episodes. And I've not just said it once in those 5 episodes, I've said it like quite a few times, and I just sort of sat there like, everyone's gonna think I'm an idiot. Everyone's gonna think I'm an idiot on this. Here's me wanting to look like, oh yeah, I know what I'm talking about, you know. And I can't even get a simple word right. Ugh. I also love another relationship I love, which I felt like we really got to see in this one because it was focused on them two. Cosima and Sarah, I just love them together. When the dentist, not dentist thing, but when the scene where they're taking the maggot bot out of her face, you know where you sit there and you sort of think, this must have took so much work to do, because you sort of sit there and think, they're not two different people. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not two different people. They're the same person twice. Like, someone had to work on that scene to make that real. It's a props to sort of all the sort of people that work on the technical aspects, like the special effects and stuff. It really is like a kind of like a round of applause. You do really well. Like, do you know what I mean? It's also like they're the same person, and you could sort of say they look the same, but they don't. How they seem like two really separate people. And it's also like a credit to like the makeup, the costumes, like how they sort of look different as well but have the same face. It still blows my mind, really. We also see Ira is devolving because he's realised he's not number one in Susan's eyes. And Sarah is free of the bot. Yes! Yes! Boom. Hallelujah. I was gonna start quoting Panic at the Disco's Hallelujah, but I don't think I know the words to be able to sort of properly quote it. And so while that's happening, Susan is at Felix's loft with Siobhan and Benjamin, and we see the other cheek chopper. Got it right this time. Benjamin. I feel like Benjamin is the hidden hero of this show. Yeah. Really. And then we see once Scott's taken the blood from Kendall and she goes to a hiding place, someone attacks her driver. What the heck? We go to Felix arriving at Art's house. I love it. I loved his outfit. And then when Crystal sees Felix and's like, you know, I recognise you, you're the guy that stole our purse. And they're sort of like, he says, oh, I'm a detective and we're sort of working on this. And Crystal's like, from what, like, place? And, because, like, Art's like, the Yard, Scotland Yard. And then, Felix is talking about, like, London and stuff. And she's like, but I thought you were you said Scotland Yard. Like, and then Felix sort of tries to go near Crystal and she literally maces him. And that was one of my favourite scenes from this episode. I give props to Jordan Gavaris because he really went for it. By the looks of things, he really went for it. You know, when you sit there and you think, oh, don't hit your head, just don't hit your head, because this, like, when you think, mind the TV, mind the fish tank, mind the cupboards, mind the windows, mind the floor, mind your head. It was just sort of like the little dancey kind of fall he did. It was funny. It was just like, and then there's Art going, put the mace away, put the mace away. Like when people say, like, put the gun away, put the gun away, put the gun down. And he's like, put the mace down. Oh. Crystal takes down another victim, as you could say. I think 3 other characters she's managed to attack. How has she not managed to attack any of the bad people? Or kind of / you know, grey bad characters. Felix's loft where Siobhan and Susan are, and the cheek chopper and Benjamin are, and she sort of says, Kendall's been kidnapped, and then she gets bleach, and she literally bleaches the whole science thing and all of the genetic stuff, and sets it on fire. And I love how she's like, Benjamin, and he's literally on the tree chopper, like I said, cheek chopper. I've already said it wrong twice. I've only said it right once. Get it in, Sophie. But I sort of hope she knows what she's doing in that sense, because that is the only genetics they have of her at this minute. Do you know what I mean? Then we go back to Brightbourne, and the cheek chopper and Evie are being a bit sketchy with Cosima. Although I love how she takes the bot without them noticing, because that could be handy later down the line. So then Lady Cheek Chopper takes Cosima's phone, and then we think, oh, this made me think, oh God, what's happening? Cosima, please tell me you're gonna be alright. Please tell me you're gonna be alright. And then Cosima asks about Delphine, and Evie's like, who? And she's like, Dr. Collier. And I sort of thought, you know who she's talking about. You know who she's talking about. Like, come on, we know you know who she's talking about. And then it's revealed Evie Cho is really the fiend we should be watching out for. And also, I want to know, does that mean both cheek choppers are working for her? Because we saw the male cheek chopper go with Susan and the female go with Evie. I love this scene though that we next get with our Felix and Crystal. It's just great, because they're sort of talking about, like, you know, Dyad, Brightbourne, Neolution, and she's like, what's Neolution? And they're all like, it's Swedish. It's Swedish, it's very European. And then she drops the bombshell that everybody on Twitter that I've seen has freaked the F out about, because I think it was a day or two before the episode was shown, they released a kind of clip, and it was Crystal, and she says the words, she saw Delphine get shot, because they ask about Dr. Cormier, and she says she saw everything, and everybody was suddenly like, what the actual fudge? What? Oh, when I saw it, I just sort of thought, what does she mean by that? What? You can't just drop that bomb on us and not give us follow-up answers. You can't just do that. You can't just drop the bomb on us and not give us follow-up answers. Like, I need an elaboration of what she means. Oh God, it's the van. We see the van, and it's the van from the stills. We see Marty. Yeah. Two-timing dirty copper. But only now, he's even more two-timing. I mean, even more of a dirty copper. Because he's working with Evie. Yeah. Yeah. I love how we see Kendall is trying to sort of figure him out almost, and so he's sort of like saying, he's saying he's not controlled, but like someone's pulling the strings. At least she can look her family in the eye. At least she can look Siobhan in the eye. And it's a bit like, can he look his family in the eye, with him knowing what he's doing, and look his family in the eye. And a Trojan we see is wiping the research off of Scott and Cosima's computers. The hard drive, I must say, from Brightbourne. And it is sort of like, it's getting worse every minute of this episode, because they've destroyed the genetic thing, the genetic blood samples and things like that from Kendall. Kendall's been kidnapped, and they've had to give their research to Brightborn on the hard drive, and now all that research that they had a copy of is getting wiped, and it's like, it's not even putting them back to square one, it's literally taking them off the map, because that's research Cosima did with Delphine, as we hear, like when they learned about the patents and things like that, and things like all the bot research, and things like all Cosima's research into the cure for her. And I love Scott, where he's sort of like, it's all gone. They've got nothing to sort of come back with. And his face was just sort of like, oh, Scott, I want to give you a cuddle. I love Scott. I love Scott and Cosima. Because then we go to the cornfield thing. And Cosima's there. Cheek chopper. Get it right. And Duco, and they've got Kendall in the van, and the cheek chopper, got it right, gives Duco a bottle of like gas, pressurised rate, I can't remember what she said, and he puts it next to Kendall, and you know, you just sort of think, oh my god, I can see where this is going. Because one of the stills actually was of Cosima in front of a burning sort of van type thing. So yeah, you can sort of see where it's going. And so Evie's sort of talking about they don't need leader. And I did sit there and think, no, you're not going to kill Cosima. No, you're not going to kill Cosima. No. I was almost so like, you're not going to kill Cosima. I can't not deal. And Evie's sort of saying, you know, they don't need clones. She doesn't think they are the future. They can fix things now. And it's sort of like, it's almost like saying Brightborn is the way of the future. What is the better way of doing things? Is it? And we find out that Evie warped Beth into thinking that the answer is to kill Susan Duncan and all her problems would go away. So we see, as in a flashback, Evie's in the car talking to Duco, saying she didn't kill Susan Duncan, you know, Beth just left her on her knees. And then we see Beth get in the car and she's sort of saying, you know, she set her up to sort of take the fall. And we see Evie sort of say, if you think you can run away with all that you know and not have any repercussions, you're wrong. We will, her words were, we'll cauterize your life. And Tatiana Maslany's performance, when she's sort of like, you think I'm afraid to die? You think I'm afraid of anything? And then we go back to Cosima and Kendall, and I thought Alison Steadman, who plays Kendall, great actress, Gavin and Stacey loved her, and Tatiana Maslany's performances were so amazing. They were just so beautifully done and very heart-wrenching, very raw. And Cosima sort of says to Evie that you can't perfect the human genome. You can't know what perfect is. That's like what people say. You can't tell what normal is. What is normal? What is perfect? Everybody has a different idea in their mind of what perfect is, of what normal is. And I love the relationship between Cosima and Kendall in these scenes, because it's almost like a comparison between It's like it's like the development between Kendall and Siobhan's relationship. Kendall's very frosty, as we can remember, toward Cosima when they first met, and now they're sort of quite close. And the fact, well, out of all the clones, she's probably the closest to Kendall, and that that Cosima is there in her final moments. And I love the sort of speech. The sort of speech they give each other, where she's sort of like, Christina's like, what do? We've got nothing. Do you know what I mean? We don't have you. We don't have any of your genetic things. Our hardware is wiped. What do we do? So Kendall's like, no tears, Cosima. These jokes aren't worth the salt. Tell Siobhan she's done right, always. And tell your sisters I'm proud to have been part of them all. Turn around, love. Turn around, good girl, because she's sort of telling her, don't watch me get shot, you know. That just brings tears to my eyes, because it was so moving. I don't know, you can sort of be like, it wasn't Cosima, you know, it's all good. But it was still quite shocking that they actually killed her off. Do you know what I mean? And in quite a barbaric way, they shot her and then set her body on fire. Do you know what I mean? It was quite like a shock. I think everybody was convinced it was Cosima who was going to die. Not that I wanted that either, but it's still quite... And also because it does kind of throw up in the air. Where do we go from here? And also I think it does throw up what's going to happen with Cosima, because she has... There's no cure. It doesn't sound like Evie's going to work on a cure. They can't work on a cure because they've got no research, no thing from Kendall, and I guess Cosima is faced with her own mortality in this moment. And then we see Duca, who shot Kendall, walk behind Cosima, and this was one of the stills as well that made everybody sort of be like, you are not going to shoot Cosima. And then we see Cosima on her knees, and Evie's telling her Delphine was shot dead at the parking lot. They call it Parkade, but I'll call it a underground car park. And oh my gosh, I love Tatiana Maslany's performance then. It was so like raw. Do you know what I mean? It was so good. You know when you just sort of think, oh, this is spine tingling in a sort of sad and good way. And also that sort of point was the straw that broke the camel's back, and then she gives her the phone to sort of be like, tell Susan the original's dead. Tell Sarah it's over. And then we go back to Beth beating Easy with the gun. And then we kind of get this montage of, we sort of see more from Beth, and we sort of get Beth found out that if she sort of ran away from it all, they would kill everybody she loved. And I love the montage they do of all the scenes from like with MK and sort of her where she's throwing her hands, and sort of the night she killed herself, all leading up to her walking, the final scene, walking into the train station to go kill herself. It was sort of like I loved it because we saw, it was very poignant and a very great tribute to Beth, who killed herself to keep her sister safe, killed herself because she knew she couldn't have her loved ones in danger. Can you tell how much that was an emotional episode? That was episode 6, The Scandal of Altruism. I thought this episode was very beautiful, very well done. I can't wait to see next week's episode because apparently it's a very dark episode, if that makes sense. And I can't wait to see that because it's nice to see how they're grieved, but from what I've seen from the trailer, it looks like Sarah goes back into her sort of where we first see her, where she's sort of a grifter and sort of neglecting her responsibilities, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think next week's could be a good one, as long as they don't go killing any of the clones off. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you don't mind my rambling, my yawning. Yeah, my talking to my cats. I might keep that in because, you know, my cats are great. I love them. They don't love me. As you can clearly tell now, they don't love me. I think I found the best way to do it is to push that screen up. It could be a lot of horrible angles like that. Or like, comment, subscribe. Be lovely to have a few comments from Orphan Black fans. Tell me what you thought of this episode. Was it as heart-wrenching for you as it was for me? Were you as panicked as I was about Casima's fate? Also, I don't know if you saw it in the background. Let's see, did you see it in the background? So I got a t-shirt from Amazon. I think that's what I was talking about beforehand. Before I forgot what I was saying. Did you see it? This is Orphan Black. How nifty. You've got all cool. So it's got the one face, one part, one face, one post. Do you know what I mean? Because I wasn't going to buy from Hot Topic. As much as I like Hot Topic, I can't be having the shipping charges again. Because it was shipping charges as well as customs. They sort of hard. Customs are a bit like, you never know fully whether you're going to get taxed. Well, I've learned that now. So I'm not prepared to take the risk. If that makes sense, it might sound a bit boring, but I can't be paying that much again. Because it was like £30 in customs and the order was about £80. With shipping charges it was £80 and then paying another 30. It was a bit expensive, and you know, as much as they do nice t-shirts. I'm also waiting for my comic books, so that'll be fun when they come. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I keep saying this, but I do put a lot of effort into this. It's not easy for me. As you can tell, memory problems, I like to mention that. But it's not easy, so I hope people, I don't want to say I hope people appreciate that, because that just sounds like I'm begging for like, give me your appreciation. But I hope you guys like it, because I do try hard to get people, not to get people, but like for people who enjoy it as well to like it, if that makes sense. Like if someone who liked Orphan Black said, oh, I like your Orphan Black videos, I thought they were really cool, or I enjoyed it, or I enjoyed it, but I think you could work on this. It would, I don't know, I think it would make me feel a bit like, oh, thank you, but it would sort of make me, not cheerful, not that much. It would give me a bit of a boost, I guess you could say. But yeah, not that I'm forcing you to do anything. So Wednesday will have passed. You will have seen my disabled premiere advice. I hope you enjoyed that one. Again, I sort of thought about it really hard to sort of be able to do you know what I mean? Because when we went to our first premiere, it was there is literally no advice. Not that I think there's much anyway. But yeah, now I'm rambling on. Thank you again for watching. Thank you again, Mum. I hope I looked in the camera this time. I would try. That's another thing I try really hard to do. To look in the camera. I'll push the screen away. But yeah, thank you again. Bye.